Hello and welcome to another Punters Guide and a very special edition as we look forward to the Derby, the one and only Derby. I'd like to say Jason Weaver has joined us to look ahead to the action at Epsom. And let's start with the big race this weekend, shall we? Jason, incredibly, Aidan O'Brien, he had 6 entered on Monday, but the news broke on Wednesday. He's going to rely just on Bolshoi Bally, who is a red-hot favourite to give him a 9th win in the race.
Yeah, he brings in really good credentials, doesn't he? It's a fascinating rate of improvement that he's shown so far. The trial win last time was really impressive, and the fact that he remains the only one, people have been questioning whether he will stay, but he'll have no problem whatsoever staying the Derby trip, and he's a very worthy favourite. But there are lots and lots in there. Normally you have Aidan's, and we talk about team tactics, don't we? There are 3 boys in blue in here. Could they shape up the Derby to suit themselves? That's an interesting factor to throw into the mix. They're not normally mob-handed. It's normally the other way around. So, listen, it's a great one. And look, you tee me up and we will fire, whether it's a John Leaper, whether it's a Max Swinney, whether it's, there are so many lines into this contest.
Yeah, there certainly is. We'll talk about them as well. John Leaper, the emotional story potentially with Frankie on board, named after John Dunlop, of course. Ed's son, Max Swinney, who was ill behind Bolshoi Bally, come out and won the 2000 against Jim Bolger, already run the Newmarket version as well. Got Moaveth progressing through the ranks, and Hurricane Liner. I think kind of underestimated because I thought he did it nicely in the Dan 10. Could be a first Derby winner for Franco.
Yeah, there are many, many lines in, and even away from that, the ground drying out. Moaveth, who's done absolutely nothing wrong and looked an absolute rocket, although we don't know what he managed to beat at Newmarket. It's very easy to say that Bolshoi Ballet will go round on rails, and he probably will do. But there are lots of angles in, and the race from a purist perspective, we want to see the champion. And from a punting perspective, you're searching for something at a bit of a price. And for me, One Ruler, who looks to be the second string of the Appleby squad, ran a pleasing Derby debut in the 2000 Guineas. He wasn't beaten miles. He didn't seem to have that natural mile in pace, if you like, when the taps were turned on. He was left behind, but just stayed in behind the leaders. And look, at an each-way price, James Doyle on board. I like the jockey. There's a lot to like about his chances from an each-way punting point of view. And who knows? I always believe that the 2000 Guineas, the best trial for this one.
Yeah, it's often been said, hasn't it, in the past. So One Ruler at a price, Bolshoi Bally says a warm order, and there's so many storylines potentially there in the Derby. Let's crack on with the card, then we'll go back to the bread and butter. We start at 2 o'clock at Epsom this afternoon, a 10 furlong handicap, and Mark Johnson's horse has been in and out of late, but he saddles 3 in here, including the likely market leader, King Franco, and the Patient Dream was one that caught my, the champion on board, who has handled Epsom before with a winning course victory.
Yeah, it's always dangerous, isn't it, when you're talking about horses or trainers that are in and out of form. And the Johnson team were woefully out of sorts for the past month, but have just started to turn the corner, and a few winners are on the horizon. So, look, we have no idea how much a King Franco. King's Aim looked a really, really good 2-year-old, and it hasn't quite happened for him. So all of those have got tickets to improve. But I have to say that Patient Dream looked for all the world as if the step up in trip was going to suit him. As they round into Tattenham Corner, they got the road to go over. And he just come under pressure for Ross O'Ryan. He's a big miss at this particular meeting. Could have been a great time for him. Wish him the best of luck for a speedy recovery with a broken collarbone. But he was on and off the bridle, suggesting that the step up in trip would definitely suit him. And just maybe he's a little bit underestimated, as you said, with the champ on board. He's got a lot to prove, hasn't he, at the moment, having been chopped off in the Derby. Nobody likes that.
No, well, you could have a winner there with Patient Dream in the opener. We move on to the Princess Elizabeth at 2:35. This is a Group 3, 4 fillies and mares. And interestingly, we've got the 3-year-olds coming in here, getting plenty of weight from their elders. The standout for me on both form and the ratings with the receipt of the weight is Statement, although Memora is likely to be towards the head of the market for William Buick.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Memora had every chance up on the front end at Goodwood and didn't quite seem to go through with her effort. And they don't normally need the outing that much from that particular team. They're normally fairly straight. Statement, what a brilliant return run that was in the Fred Darling. In the Guineas itself, she just ran a touch with her nose in the air in the choke out. So David Egan has been entrusted with trying to get her to settle. That's absolute key as far as she is concerned, and we'll forgive her the bad run in the Guineas, I suppose, and let her have another opportunity to bounce back to the form that she showed behind Alcohol Free. However, I think there's loads of pace in here. You mentioned Memora, Tomorrow's Dream, Statement handy. Lottie Marie at the top goes handy, and that could set it up for Posted, who goes for Richard Hannon and Jim Crowley. She's really tricky to get onto. They've got that chute at Epsom that goes round before they get onto the track, and then they'll get her moving before they get the jockey on going forward. But herself, she was far too keen behind Lady Bowthorpe on her return at Newmarket. That form's already been advertised, with the winner coming out and finishing second at Newbury, up at the highest level. So I think she flies a little bit under the radar here, Posted.
Yeah, I remember winning a nice race at Sandown as well last year, getting on top late on. So, yeah, Posted take advantage of all that pace in the Princess Elizabeth. And then we've got another Group 3 as well over the extended mile, the Diamet, due off at 3:10. Century Dream comes in here as top rated, although we know he does like dig in the ground. He's going to be of interest. And so Michael Stout throws one in here in Maximal 3, or getting plenty of weight. Of course, finished just behind Hurricane Lane at Newbury earlier in the season, and was second in the Derby trial at Chester. Drops back in trip to the mile.
Yeah, from a physical point of view, he's not as big and as imposing as one or two of the nice looking Galileos that you would have seen about. However, he's pretty neat and nimble, and he should act around this particular venue. If you go back in his form, he finished second to One Ruler in his maiden at Sandown as well. So he's got all sorts of bits and pieces of form that would bring him into the equation. But he strikes me as a horse because of who he's owned by, because of who he's trained and ridden by, he's going to be a lot shorter in the market than he really should be. Thankfully for Ryan, because the jockeys are getting the £3 allowance at the moment, he's able to ride. He'd never get down to 8'8", but 8'11" will be just within his reach with the £3 allowance. Prince Ejai ran really well at Ascot. Thought that he could definitely take a step forward. And Bell Rock was a good winner when up at Newmarket, probably a career best, and jumps up in grade. I like the look of Frankie Dettori on Duke of Hazzard. He's already managed to win a Group 3 and a Group 2, the Celebration Mile at Goodwood. He's blessed with a real good change of gear. Now, they felt his wind wasn't right. They gave him that little bit of an operation, ran at Ascot without all the headgear on. Now he gets the equipment change again, tongue tie and blinkers back on board, with Dettori taking over in the saddle, and they will go flat out, won't they? Century Dream, he wants it like a bog to be at his best, last year's winner. Bell Rock forward, Marie's Diamond forward. They're all going to go forward. Dettori's going to be able to sit off that gallop and produce Duke of Hazzard late in the day.
You know, and Duke of Hazzard, I hope you're not going to stick your Daisy Dukes on. Talking of going hell for leather, then let's look at the Dash. 3:45, wide open. This always reminds me, I think, of Epsom and the Camber. Remember the arcade game? We used to roll the balls, we used to move across, because they are literally on a slant, aren't they? All the way up from the bottom of the hill, all the way up towards the stands. Generally, a high draw has been favourable in years gone by, but with the likes of Ornate, Caspian Queen, Caspian Prince, and Lord Ridderford in here, this, you know, if it was a little bit quicker, we could be looking at world record pace.
Yeah, look, it is the fastest 5 furlongs in the world. I was lucky enough to win this years ago on a mare called Double Quick. And the first 3 parts of the furlong before you hit that road is so fast, so important to get away on the B of the Bang. And you go down over the road that they cover with the matting and the cuttings from the grass. If you catch that lip, you literally would end up in about a month and a half away from where you are now's time. It's just ridiculous how quick they go. Handful of mane, give them their head and just let them get on with it. It's helter-skelter. I think I like 2. They are both drawn in high numbers, with the likes of Sunday Sovereign going to go forward from 19. Coppernight from 16, only spoofing from 20. There is going to be so much gallop on. And I've gone for 2 hold-up performers. One of them, who we know, and we've gone with him on a couple of occasions, Mondomedge, but he needs to get it right at the gates. You cannot give away the start here, but he's the only well-handicapped runner in the race for me. If you go all through the runners, he's still got a profile of an improving horse. So we haven't seen the best of him, and I've got to put in Stone of Destiny. I can easily see why Sylvester has chosen Sunday Sovereign. But I think he's got off Stone of Destiny, the Portland winner, because he's a horrible, horrible ride. If you have ever been unfortunate enough to be on a push bike with no brakes, or a car where the brakes are a little bit dodgy, or it leans, or that shopping trolley you can't get to go straight, that's exactly like Stone of Destiny. He's an absolute shocker to try and ride. He's all over the place. He's got no brakes, no steering, and you're trying to guide him through a packed team of horses. But Oisin Murphy is entrusted. I think he'd be flashing home late. So him and Mondomedge will be my 2 against the field.
Yeah, 2 against the field in the dash. There's 20 runners. I won't begrudge you a couple of darts in that wide open handicap. It's nearly double figures the field as well, although I'm sure something will come out of the pack and be well back. We'll have a look at the last 2 races as well, not on the ITV. We've got a 1.5 mile handicap to look forward to, the 5:15. You mentioned Sylvester Sousa in the dash. He's got Group 1 power here for Andrew Bald. And Antozini's on Lost Eden, who was disappointed on his turf debut last time out. And course specials as well, Soto Sizzler to come back.
Yeah, nice little contest, isn't it? To sort of slot in after the derby, all the talk, all the hype, all the lads chatting afterwards, getting down to the start, saying how it was and how things have gone over the weekend. A strange one here for you, if you like. Wait for the Lord, this mare, she set off as a jumper and was ridden by some of the leading jump stars before being switched onto the synthetic and then the turf. That run of hers up at Haydock last time behind Laloon was fantastic. I mean, really good. Up against a couple of, 3 triple-digit rated runners. She's not been moved as far as the handicap is concerned. She is a terrible conveyance. She's very keen as well. So it's whether Dougie can get her switched off in the early stages. 90 definitely underestimates her. She won't mind the ground. And she'll be very keen early. So it's important from 3 that he gets her absolutely buried and dropped in. If he can get that combination going and settled, she's a big, big player.
Yeah, well, maybe a big win for David Ellsworth then on Derby Day in that 5:15. And then the lucky last, with the dash is going to be helter-skelter. This similarly is very quickly run the 6 furlongs at Epsom. I mentioned Mark Johnson could have a good start today. He's on Desert Safari. In Atalanta's Boys, a specialist at Goodwood, not too dissimilar in terms of the downhill run at Epsom. Another one that comes in with good Goodwood form as well is Kimmy 5, the mount of Oisin Murphy. Yeah,
I've got a question mark against Kimmy 5. He definitely will be hitting the line strongly. Aberama Gold has been given the inside berth, but I just think it's so hard to try and ping and go from here when you've got lots of them that will be breathing down your neck. And he's just been zipping off in front and coming up shy. If they were going to hold on to him a little bit, Aberama Gold, and just let the field come up around the outside of him, I think he'd have a real good chance. But I like one who's drawn terribly in the car park, but is well handicapped. It's Indian Sounds right down the bottom for the Midgley team. Cam Hardy on board, literally a featherweight, 8 stone 2, even allowing for the £3 allowance that they all carry, 8 stone 5. Bit of an eye catcher the last couple of times out on the track, not knocked about on return, certainly not given a hard time, and it didn't happen for him at York last time. He was a real improver as a 4-year-old for this squad. Came from Mark Johnson's. They've been racing him over much further. They dropped him back sprinting, found the key, and he got himself into gear. It's not beyond the realms, but this has been the idea, I should imagine, for this horse for some time, that they've been aiming to get him on a good mark in here for this day.
Hopefully, it could be a good day for Cam Hardy then. If he wins the dash and this will be a big price double, that is for sure. So that's the 7 races at Derby Day taken care of, Jason. What would be the idea of a strongest bet on the card at Epsom on Saturday?
I think that I've got to stick with One Ruler just because of the unknown quantity as far as he is concerned. He finished right up behind Max Swinney as a juvenile. He ran in the Guineas on his return. I like that as a trial. He's unknown at the trip. And for the boys in blue, he's by Dubawi. He's out of a Shamadal mare. That's got the boys in blue stamped all over it. This would be their biggest success to date.
And just a little word from yourself as well. I mean, what does it mean to you? Obviously, the derbies down the years, both riding and being on track as a pundit. How good does it feel to be back at Epsom this weekend?
Yeah, it's great. It's so much better that we have some of the people back and on the track. It seems very surreal experience, obviously, with Serpentine winning, nobody there, and it was just a real weird afternoon out on the track. But great to be back. Listen, the buzz, you got so many jockeys in the lineup. I think half of them haven't as yet ridden a classic winner. Dettori's up there on 30. There are a few that have had a few goes, few having their first go. Oh my word, the pressure cooker. Welcome to the pressure cooker for the riders today.
Yeah, it certainly is. They're going to be feeling the pressure at Epsom this weekend. Thanks to Jason for joining us then. Fingers crossed you have a successful derby day. Keep your eye on one ruler in the big one itself, and whatever you're backing this weekend, the very best of luck. And as always, please gamble responsibly.